Hey there, my lovely RenoVersity lot. I hope you guys are doing really well. We are finally having some sunshine here in London. Oh my goodness, it's really upped my mood. It's so nice to see the sun and the blue skies. And I will definitely go out and enjoy it after this call today. I have been working really hard on a talk which I'm doing in April for one of our university partners, Fritz Fryer. We're doing a collaborative talk on kitchen lighting design. So I've been preparing the talk for that. But I'm here now ready to take your questions for the second RenoVersity live Q&A. So if you have any questions, let me know. I have some here that have been emailed into me. As you know, you can just send them in to me via email at hello@southplacestudio.com. If you don't have time to come to the lives, just email me your questions. I'll do my best to answer them in these live sessions, and then I record them and I'll send them to you afterwards. So let's get straight into it, guys. Let's do question number one. So question number one is from Tom. Hi, Tom. I remember you sent a question last week as well. So Tom is saying, he's saying, I'm doing a loft conversion addition, but the ceilings in the new floor will be 2 meters high. And I feel that's too low. Should I consider dropping the ceiling of the story below? Okay, Tom. So this is something I've actually done two or three, four times before in some other renovations I've carried out. So the issue when you're adding a loft conversion, so a loft kind of addition into the roof of your house, is that houses can be really different. And some houses have loads of space, high, tall roofs, and you can extend into that space and use it quite easily. And then others are a bit more challenging where the roof is a little bit lower, or depends on so many things, the angles, so many things. But the sometimes the height inside is just a little bit too low. It's still kind of walkable. You can still be walk upright in there, but the feeling is that the ceilings are just too low. It can feel a bit claustrophobic. Sometimes it can affect resale value if you're looking to resell it. So, in general, I would say, Tom, if you have the budget, then yes, I would say lower the floors or the floors or the ceilings of the story below so that you then gain some more ceiling height upstairs, because I feel that if it's around about 2 meters, it just feels a little bit too low. When I'm renovating, I really try and have ceiling heights at least 2.1, 2.2 at least. I do think 2 meters feels a little bit too low. So I would say yes, if it's within your budget, it can cost a bit extra, because what it means is that the entire existing ceiling of the floor that is there now has to be lowered slightly. So you need a whole new structure that is slightly lowered. And then, of course, this also depends on the ceiling height of the story below. So for this situation, I'm assuming that you've got decent heights to your ceiling below, because if you do, you can usually reduce it by a few centimeters without it feeling like it's been reduced. So if you've got, let's say, for example, ceiling height of 2.4 and above, and you drop it, let's say, by about 20 centimeters, that change is not going to be so noticeable on that floor, but it's going to make a huge difference to the floor above it that you're adding. So yeah, I would say yes. If you can, if your budget can handle it, so go to your builder, ask them what the additional cost will be, or I don't know what stage you're at in your planning and into the course, but if you're still at planning stage, then put it in your documents, put it in your plans, put it in your schedule of works that that is what you want to do. And then when you come to pricing and tendering, you can speak with the builder or the architect and just find out how much extra that's going to cost you, if anything at all. Sometimes depending on the condition of the roof. Everything needs to come off anyways, in which case it's not going to cost you so much more. So just look into the costs really carefully of doing that. And I would say if you feel your budget can handle it, definitely do it. And I also think that, like I said, if you come to resell the property in future, it makes such a big difference. I think when people are walking in and they go up to the new floor and all of a sudden the ceilings are 2 meters or a lot lower than the rest of the property, it is an instant feeling of kind of claustrophobia. So I would say, yes, if you can do it, then definitely do that. So moving on to question number 2, which is from Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Sarah says, I love cement tiles, but I've heard they stain very easily. Should I consider something else? Um, okay, so Sarah, yes, cement tiles can be a bit of a pain. I have used these before, and I have to admit I've not used them very many times because what I like to do here in my own house is I like to test out materials. When we built it, I put in loads of different materials to test them out so that I could see what I would and wouldn't recommend to clients. But we have cement tiles in one of our bathrooms. So they are the encaustic tiles, sorry. And I'm sure you've seen them. They're usually really pretty. They can have lots of patterns on them. They've got a really kind of natural feel to them. They're quite porous, so that's why they stain easily because they are quite porous and they do soak up things and moisture. And there's a way around it. You can treat these tiles. So you get this kind of liquid treatment. So before you use any of the spaces where these tiles are, I recommend treating them so thoroughly. So make sure that they're properly cleaned after your build of any dust or plaster dust or grout or anything like that, and then use that liquid sealant and then put lots of layers on because that is actually the thing that's going to stop them from getting stained easily. So I would say if you absolutely love them and you want to use them, just make sure you follow that process really rigorously. Make sure that you do those steps, put the sealant on, really seal them properly so that they don't soak up stains and soak up moisture and so on. But I have found that so I've used them in the bathroom. I've also used them in an outside courtyard, a little tiny outside courtyard here at home. And strangely, the ones in the outside courtyard have actually held up better than the ones in the bathroom. So the ones in the bathroom have kind of got stains and the kind of dirt has got into the grain of the tile. Whereas outside, those seem to be holding up better. And I don't know, it's because of a different design, slightly different material. I don't quite know why, because both were laid at the same time, both were protected in the same way. So I'm not quite sure why one's behaving differently to the other, but I would just say be really aware of the maintenance if you choose to go with these. And I would say if you really love them, then go with them. But just be aware that that is the process you need to go through, and also you'll need to do that on occasion as well. So maybe twice a year, go through the process of treating them again. So it's just the level of maintenance and making sure you're on top of it to keep them looking their best. In terms of alternatives, if sorry if that's put you off and you don't want to use them, but in terms of alternatives, there are some really great alternatives now to cement tiles. I don't know if you've seen, but you can get porcelain tiles now that kind of mimic the look of these cement tiles, the patterns, the colors, the kind of muted colors, and so on. So really take a look at those. Maybe you can find a porcelain tile, which is a lot easier to clean, a lot more forgiving on stains and so on, a lot more hard wearing than the cement tiles, but you can still get that same effect. So have a look at those at porcelain tiles. And then also just to end off on this one, Sarah, don't forget that at Letter London, so one of our RenoVersity partners, if you go to your RenoVersity partner section that was added to the course last week, you've got your discount documents there. But if you contact Letter or you see anything you like there, remember that you get 10% off there. If you just tell them that you're on the RenoVersity course, all the details are in that document that I just mentioned. So go there, check them out. They do also have cement tiles there, I think. So have a look at them. They will help you out and they'll give you a discount as well. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know what you do. Let me know if you go for the cement tiles or the porcelain. I'd love to know. And then I just had one more question, guys. We have one last one from Chloe, and Chloe says, oh, Chloe, you emailed last week as well, didn't you? You had a question last week, I remember, about the bifold doors. So Chloe's obviously getting along in her planning pretty well. So she's saying, I'm opening up the whole ground floor of my house. I have a baby and a 2-year-old. So it makes sense because I can see them when they play, um, when I'm in the kitchen or doing other things downstairs. So that does make sense, Chloe. And she says, before I proceed, do you have any advice for me, please? Okay, all right, Chloe. Yes, I do have some advice for you. So I would say just think carefully about open plan living. So I'm assuming you're still at the very early floor plan stage here, which is a great time to think about all of this. As you guys know by now, I'm all about planning and thinking about everything ahead, think about everything in advance. So I would say with the kids, it's great for now to have open plan with 2 young children. That's exactly what we did. It's great to have, an area where they can play or playroom, open plan to the kitchen where you might be cooking or working or doing whatever you're doing in the kitchen, and you can see the kids and you can keep an eye on them. So that's really great about open plan. But I would say just try and future proof a little bit. So actually what I'm finding now where we still have the open plan, but our kids are older. So now they are 6 and 12, but when we moved in, they were like, a tiny baby just born and 6. So at that stage, it was great having the open plan. But now I'm finding, especially with the 12-year-old, when they are watching TV and my husband and I in the kitchen and we're chatting and cooking and they have the telly up really loud, that's quite annoying. And I do wish, and I think we will actually put some doors or screens or dividers in between our little living room snug area and the kitchen diner area, because I'm finding now as the needs are changing and everyone's kind of able to do their own things in different areas, I'm finding that some division would actually be really, really good. So I would just say just future proof for that. So perhaps instead of just breaking through all the walls and not having any doors in the whole of your ground floor, I would say if you can still maintain that open plan feel, but perhaps you keep a really wide doorway. You have some kind of double doors or some French style doors that can open up where the doors remain open. So you get that feel of it being open plan. But when you do need to shut it off, those doors can be shut. So that can just really be designed and planned in a way where those doors pretty much sit flush with the walls where they're open. So you don't even notice that there are doors there in your day-to-day life, or they are not getting in the way as long as you plan that properly. So I would just say, just think about that, think about that ahead. And also, if you're dedicating a whole area or a whole room to a playroom, I don't know if you're doing that. You didn't quite say that in your question, but then just think ahead again about how, if you're dedicating that completely to play, to toys, to toy storage, again, just think a bit ahead. So at the point in your lives where you're not needing those toys anymore or not needing the storage in that kind of particular way, perhaps adjust the storage a bit. So it can not only work for toys now, but it can work for other things later on when you come to change that from a playroom to having perhaps a different use for that space. So I hope that wraps it up nicely. I hope that was useful, Chloe. Do let me know if you need any more advice on that one. But yes, I would say plan for kind of broken plan is what they call it now, which is to have the options, a plan for future-proof options where you can shut that off later on, or I think I find sometimes, even if it's your future proofing, there might even be situations where perhaps if you're entertaining or you need to close that section off for whatever reason, for quiet area for work, let's say, when the kids aren't there, then also it's really great to have that option of being able to close it off. But I think that's it, guys. That's it for this one. As always, send me your questions if you can't join in here live and you can't ask them directly to me on the lives. Just send them to me and I'll answer them exactly like I have here today. So I'm wishing you a really good week and keep an eye out on your emails. I'm going to send the Zoom link for next week's Q&A. So keep an eye out for that. And I will see you next week, everybody. I'll see you then. Bye for now. Have a great one.